if you go back and look at the favorites, we haven't had a favorite win since 2018. Think about that. So Justify wins the Triple Crown that year. And since then, it's Country House in 19, long shot, Authentic in 20, Mandaloon in 21, Rich Strike, a huge bomb in 22, Mage in 23, Mystic Dan in 24. This has sort of turned into the Daytona 500 in horse racing, where everybody likes a certain guy or two or a certain horse or two, and it's been a deeper shot. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to continue. Eddie said journalism is the class. I had Staggy on Chicken Dinner, who you and I both know. We've had him on for years. He likes journalism. Colin Sheehan, who works for Trust the Profits, he likes sovereignty, but he said Justify is going to hit the board. So even though the favorites haven't necessarily won in some time, they have been in the mix, as Paul likes to say. Paul's a big in the mix guy. Justify is going to win, play, show, one of the three. So what do you do to build around? And here are some of the horses that I've heard from really, really respected people. The 3, Final Gambit. That's a very sharp horse, trained by Brad Cox, who's had success here at the Derby. In fact, Cox won it in 21 with Mandaloon. So that's one. The third horse, Final Gambit. Couple more. Burnham Square, the 9. Tistastic from Eddie, the 14. Sovereignty, the 18 horse. That's Colin's pick to win. He's a closer, big speed late. And then, dude, we have to talk about a scratch horse, Baeza. Baeza is the 21. Baeza has raced 3 times this year. 1 first, 2 seconds, and he gave journalism everything he had at Santa Anita. I mean, he was right there, man. So he's raced with journalism, and he has held his own. Those would be the horses. If you're looking to build an exotic bet, that's probably what I'm going to do. We'll do this later in the show during Lightning Bets, but I'm going to do an Exacta box with journalism, the 8, Final Gambit, the 3, Burnham Square, the 9, Tistastic, the 14, Sovereignty, the 18, and Baeza, the 21. And that bet works this way. I could get any order. So journalism doesn't have to win. He could come in second with Tistastic or Baeza or whoever. If it's not journalism, say journalism comes in second, and one of those other horses that I mentioned wins, holy cow, that ticket is going to pay a lot of money if the favorite doesn't win.
I think that's a very key point you bring up about certain horses that are closers, because that's the constant with the handicap of this race. And we'll talk to Miller about it in about 15 minutes. I think we're going to go back to the closers, and in that group, in the group of closers, some horses that you mentioned. And why do we want to get there? Well, we want to get there because the pace is expected to be frantic, I would say. That's what's constantly the idea, that we're going to see such a crazy pace at the start, and then it's going to be impossible for those horses to keep that pace, right? Almost impossible. And so which ones are the closers? If that's the case, if we're taking that at face value, that it's going to be a wild pace, then which ones are the closers? And those are the ones that I would want to circle. And did you mention Sovereignty? Is that the one you mentioned as a closer?
Okay. That's Colin Sheehan's horse. He thinks he's the best closer in the mix.
Okay. And another horse that you also mentioned, I don't know if this is entirely part of the thinking, Burnham Square is also viewed as a closer. So that would be in the mix. That is a horse that Eddie Olczyk also mentioned. And are you on the 17?
I am not. Is that Sandman? No, I'm not.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Won the Arkansas Derby, viewed as a closer. That would be another one that I would consider. But it's like outside of journalism, we can sit here and make a case for 7, 8, 9. That's the challenge. Like the biggest challenge with the Derby when you're talking about 20 horses is you do have to have a period. Okay, let's do the elimination game. We've got to cross a bunch out because you got to take a stand somewhere. You can't include everyone. And what I thought was going to be the biggest talking point of this race, it was going to be all about Bob Baffert. The 3-year suspension is over. Baffert has 2 horses. People are going to bet those horses no matter what. They were betting those horses. They were betting Rodriguez. Rodriguez went from 12-1 down to 6-1. Rodriguez scratched. After won the Wood Memorial, like people were starting to make cases. The Baffert horses always get bet. Citizen Bull also getting bet. Awful draw. I think we can eliminate Citizen Bull. The people that I respect, I think the people that you respect have not been talking about Citizen Bull in a positive light. So that'll be interesting to see if he still gets bet. But I'm not interested in any of the Baffert horses. I think, that's where we can start some of the elimination game.